from Nico. Charles, I messaged you regarding adaptive and algorithmic music for games. How's your game going? I'm glad you asked. So right now I'm vetting one of our first hires for my game company, and it goes by the name Martin. And I give him a bunch of stuff to do, and we'll see if we can negotiate, work something out. But he's a little older, and he's going to come in as one of the game designers and game architects. And he worked with Gary Gygax and wrote a whole game system with him. Gary Gygax is one of the creators of Dungeons and Dragons. So right now what he's doing is he's systematically going through Legends of Valor, which is the game I bought, and he's basically writing down everything that's wrong with it, all the game mechanics that need to be updated, and so forth. So what we're going to do is a two-stage process to resurrect this game. The first is that we're going to do an enhanced edition for the game. So an enhanced edition is like Baldur's Gate Enhanced Edition from Beamdog Studios. And there they just took the original game and they updated it so it would run on modern PCs. And then they added a lot of things that would be present if the game was made today, just for playability, usability. The problem is that Legends of Valor really was not made in a time where standard RPG mechanics had solidified yet. So there's no journal system, quest system, there's no persistent mapping system, there's no level system, experience system. The combat and magic system are incredibly primitive. The HUD is extremely primitive as well. And as a consequence, there's just massive things missing that even if I was just to update it so you guys could play it, it wouldn't be a fun experience because we just expect so much to be there. Now, when I was a young kid, we didn't have any of that. So, okay, it was great, but nowadays we have to be realistic and reasonable. Second, I disassembled the code using something called Kahidra, which is a disassembler that the NSA uses. It's now an open source project, and we thoroughly examined the source code to try to see if we could resurrect the source code and port it. Or at the very least understand all the artifacts, the dialogue trees, the things like the bitmaps and art and these things. And almost nothing is reusable. So we know the whole plot, we know the structure of these things, but everything's just going to have to be built from scratch. So for the enhanced edition, what we're going to do is backfill in all the missing gameplay mechanics, but create a spiritual enhancement that functionally is the same game. Obviously, massively improved for playability. We're going to write that in JavaScript and use something called Babylon.js and make that a browser game and make it a cell phone game and a desktop game as a Node application. And I think we can do a lot of really good work there and build something great. And probably we're going to do it as an open source project. So basically we'll do like 6-week sprints, 8-week sprints. It's almost like an early release title. And over a period of time, 12 months or so to 16 months, once full development is started, we should be able to build that game out. Now, I'd be really excited to put some blockchain-based components as well. For example, non-fungible assets or these things and make them blockchain-based and pull them in. It's basically learning how to bring a video game to market. And I've been talking to some people next instead of Michigan State University who do game development just to kind of learn the dynamics of that business. I know software and I know mathematics and I do business stuff. I even grow mushrooms, but I'm not a game developer. So there's a whole thing there to do. So that's the enhanced edition. And hopefully we can do this as a collaborative open source project and build a great community around it and just learn how to do that. Once that's done, the next step will be to do a remastery and a complete redesign or rewrite. And I have over 100 pages of notes that I've kept throughout the years of what I want to do. So that is going to be a totally new game, and we're going to make it a AAA game, use a middleware graphics engine kind of like Unreal or something of that, so you can do a AAA game and do a cross-deployment across PlayStation, Xbox, and PC, and build it just like any other AAA game. And we'll probably do a really cool crowdfund. And we might do a DRM system using blockchain and a litany of other things to kind of merge gaming and crypto together. So I think it's going to be a lot of fun. And basically the first exercise is just something to learn how to get there. And then, of course, we'll build that game in a high-performance programming language specifically for game software, probably not JavaScript. So your specific question is adaptive algorithmic music. Where would that fit in this line? The first project, the enhanced edition, there was no soundtrack for Legends of Valor. This was before that they commonly put music in games. That's how old it is. So we'd have to completely redo the audio engineering and music. It would be fun to experiment with algorithmic music at that juncture. So we will definitely look at it. I think there's a lot of really cool things that can be done, both on the sound effects and also in the game soundtrack. And that asset pipeline can be made quite unique and probably machine assisted. The same for generative dialogue. So that's where we're at there, and really excited to see what Martin comes up with. Gary Gygax was a legend. He's now departed, but was one of the greatest minds in role-playing games in the last 50 years, and really a pioneer in the entire field. So to work with somebody who knew him on a first-name basis and built a game system with him is going to be a really fun endeavor.